panic attacks basically is like I can't breathe, or I'm so overwhelmed with emotion that it's really hard to breathe, and you feel like you're gonna die, but you're not, but it really doesn't make it any easier. I was first diagnosed with anxiety last year, actually. It was 2020, yes. When I had went to my counselor and my therapist, I kind of already knew at that time what I was suffering with, and the general label that she gave me was just anxiety. At that time, it was at a heightened point because I was really depressed. I was suffering from depression, and she referred me to like another therapist who more like specialized in that. Well, when I got the diagnosis, I did know that I already had anxiety, but it didn't feel like a weight lifted off of me. It just felt like now it finally had a label. And I come from a family that really doesn't believe in mental disorders or anything like anxiety or depression or anything. So when I told my grandmother about it, she kind of dismissed it, which really didn't put my mind at ease, but at least like I knew that I was valid in what I was feeling. Yes, I do think my upbringing has a lot to do with my anxiety, especially coming from an abusive household. You really don't know what you're walking into, so you always have to be on guard, like in your sleep or when you come home. You never really get a chance to relax, so it's really hard to come out of that in your adulthood when all this happened during your formative years, and that's how you survived. I would say it's affected my relationships mostly because it's really hard for me to get close to people without the anxiety factor. And in order to get closer to people, I have to come out of my shell. And it's really hard for me because I feel like I have to trust you in order for my guard to be brought down. I know some of my triggers, I feel like. Some might be if something happened in my childhood and then it reoccurs, that's very triggering for me, I'd say. Last year, my mother was basically my abuser, and last year she came to my apartment, and it kind of was an avalanche after that, really, of emotions and anxiety, and I would say that was one of my biggest triggers. So my family does have an astounding history of of a lack of mental health care, basically, because when I described what I was going through, my granny was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, your Uncle Bob has like the same thing, but like it's just we pray about it, and that helps him." So um, it's very intricate. I feel like my family history. My mother suffered from depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and then she also had a brain injury that resulted in like a change in her personality. So I never really got to know like who my mother like was before that, and I feel like also my grandmother had dots with depression, and so it was basically around probably depression, bipolar, because that actually runs pretty heavy in my family, and anxiety. She got the help that she needed, but she wasn't ready to take that help. So it was more of that type of factor. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like if she did take that seriously and did actually take her medication, I think my childhood would have been a lot different and our relationship would be a lot better than what it is. I'm very happy to be a senior because I'm on my way out. But I will say, at first it was very hard for me, and especially with making friends. It was a very slow start, I will say. I had latched on to one friend, I feel like, and we ate breakfast, lunch, dinner. We did everything together. Unfortunately, we're not friends now, but sophomore year is when I had time to really like open up and show my real personality. I finally was comfortable on campus, and junior year was COVID, so I definitely had some challenges making friends because I am an outgoing person, but it does take a lot from me, like to overcome my anxiety in order to be myself in big spaces. And now we're in senior year, and I'm putting myself out there more with my organization, and I'm trying to join other organizations really. And I guess my main goal is just to never let anxiety stop me from doing things that I want to do or things that I'm meant to do.